The Spanish Announce Table.
Episode 361 of the Spanish Announce Table, Pro Wrestling's best podcast. We are the voice of the voiceless. Now, CM Punk said he isn't anymore, so we're it. We're the podcast of the people. We're going to hear what you have to say about the pro wrestling week that was with hashtag Tweet the Table later on in the show. But we've got some news to talk about. We've got some AEW Dynamite to talk about. We've got some WWE stuff to talk about. You know, there are things still.
Hey, look, it's still a thing that a lot of people watch. Don't know why.
Don't
but
understand
again,
it.
Whatever you want to talk about. And here's the thing. We will talk WWE with you. We will also talk WCW, NWA, MLW,
GCW.
GC. Oh, by the way, Allie catches promo on Thunder Rosa for their next GCW show in Texas. Oh, chef's kiss. Great work there.
Yeah. GCW. We'll talk to you about that. We'll talk about whatever you want, pro wrestling stuff. You were like, hey, remember Papa Shango? We know him very well.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll discuss him. Yeah.
So here you go. So
right.
With that being said, we do want to hear from you, but we also want to inform you. So Tim, let's start off with the news.
Yes. Well, 1 second. I thought the news was coming. Let's try that again with the mother-loving news. No headline on this one. Jim Ross announced this week that he will be stepping away from commentary duties as he receives treatment for his recent skincare diagnoses. Due to my skin cancer care totaling 22 radiation treatments starting Monday, I will hopefully return to the announce desk on December 29th in Jacksonville. Tony Khan supports me on this strategy, which has been a blessing. My thanks for all your support. And we have, we speak to this all the time. Jim Ross, the stuff he's brought to the wrestling industry is unrivaled by most people. And he's great at what he did, good at what he does. But we just felt like it, in the commentary booth needed some changes, right? Like that had sort of kind of maybe passed him by, but this is not the way we wanted to see stuff like that go down. And of course, this doesn't look like it's permanent by any stretch, at least how he plans now.
Yeah. And so last night, AEW Dynamite's episode was episode 1 during his treatment phase. I will say, again, I have been very critical of his commentary throughout this, pandemic and now back on the road phase of Jim Ross's play-by-play career. And I'm not going to backtrack on that. However, one thing that I noticed, and maybe it's due to him, but that show just felt a tad off. It felt like it needed a conductor to hold, hey, the traffic's going this way. Now we're stopping. Now we're going to talk about this. And then we're going to come back. It felt like it missed that during this episode last night. I don't know if that's contributing to him being absent. Maybe he's doing the things that we don't see. With that being said, though, obviously, like you said, it doesn't seem permanent, which is good. So I'm excited that he can get a little bit of a recharge of the batteries while he does go through treatment. He's also probably going to view the product maybe in a different lens, I would assume. And then we can maybe get a different version of good old JR when he comes back. But obviously the first thing that's the most important is getting him healthy. So hopefully everything goes well with this round of treatments and we get him back sooner rather than later. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Yeah, all the best of luck to good old JR, as it were. They'll still be doing the Too Sweet by then.
Oh, what are we talking about here?
In a move that surprised absolutely nobody, the Young Bucks signed a new AEW contract this week, keeping them signed with the company until 2026.
So here's what surprised me. Not that they re-signed. Obviously, they're executive vice presidents, all of that. Yeah. I find the terms to be a little interesting. Wouldn't you think in the age of super contracts across all types of entertainment and sports that you would have saw maybe a double-digit year commitment, a 10-year commitment. I mean, we see that from NFL coaches when certain talent agencies acquire actors or actresses. You see a agreement of X number of years that usually goes into the double digits. So I found it interesting that it was only 2 years. That feels very temporary to me.
Yeah, it is. However, I mean, that may also be a move by the Young Bucks that they wanted to do. I mean, they for as much as we deride their style choices or their, gimmick choices or how they, talk in general, just their general being, they are seasoned veterans who have been around the world in wrestling. And so they know, like, hey, things are going great now. Dude's got money for this now. But, things go south. Sometimes you got to have your options available, and getting locked up into something long term, as much as everything's going great now, sure, sign the prenup, or at least sign the prenup, if you will, right? Like, that's the deal, right? Yeah.
But doesn't that, so I understand that logic, right? That makes total sense. But then if you're a talent that's lower on the card, let's say you're Lance Archer, I don't know if that bodes too confident with what your executives are signing. You know what I mean? Like, so then they come to you and say, hey, we got a 5-year deal. It's like, no. You guys, the executive team here isn't going more than 2 years. So I'm not either. You know what I mean?
I want 2 years too. Yeah. I want to see how this inflation stuff works out.
Right. Exactly. So again,
I don't get this in Bitcoin.
Well, some people are. Some people are.
Let me get it in Shiba. Let me get an MJF coin.
Hey, there he is. Which way am I going? That way?
Yep, that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, over your right shoulder.
There it is, right here.
Yeah.
So I think I'm reading a little bit too much into this, but that was the most surprising aspect of this news story, was that the terms felt a little short, in my opinion.
All right. Well, they were a little short. Anyway, let's move on. That's a little deflating.
I could speculate, but I might put my
Big Swole announced that she and AEW have mutually come to an agreement to not renew her contract. Swole was last seen on the November 9th episode of AEW Dark, where she defeated Allie Katch.
Really? Allie Katch got a dark match? I guess I missed that. I'll have to go back and check that out.
I think we've heard Big Swole's had some issues with Crohn's disease. Not to try to be like, I think that's been something that's been out there. So, I think it sounds like everything was amicable, and maybe this was just a thing like, hey, maybe she's not going to do it at least full time or something. I don't want to speculate, especially if there's health concerns involved and whatnot. But I think we enjoyed Big Swole.
First off, as far as original themes that take apart the CM Punk Jungle Boys, because that's paid music, but the original themes, I loved her music though. Swole, and I like the flexing. I will remember Big Swole's time in AEW with her feud with Britt Baker, because remember, Britt Baker was injured and she had that leg injury, and that's how the feud started, and it led to the dentist match, the cinematic dentist match, I believe at All Out, and that I thought was the highlight of her short tenure here in AEW. I also, so she put out a statement. I read that a little bit. Maybe I'm just in this mode of reading into too many things. It almost felt like, hey, wrestling's cool. I am dealing with maybe, some health concerns, but I'm also interested in doing other things. It felt like maybe we're going to see her, I don't know, do a rap album, maybe come out as some type of, acting in
the new reboot of American
movies.
Gladiators.
Yeah, something, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But it felt like the tone of it, I read into it as, hey, wrestling's cool. I don't know if I can do it every day. And also, I don't think I want to do it every day. So if that's the case,
some
then
people
more credit to her.
will be faced with the thing like, and not to say like Big Swole would never be out of this position, but when you're in a position like Big Swole at the moment, be like, I'm not probably going to be a superstar right here. Right. Like, so do I want to make the level a non-superstar makes for the effort it takes in pro wrestling? And that's a tough choice for a lot of folks. Like, I think that's where definitely. That's where you get the workhorses, because they love the business, because like, man, you pay for it.
Oh yeah, you definitely pay for it. You pay for it with sweat, blood, and tears, and
broken bones, as it were.
And if you're not fully committed, don't ever do anything half-ass, especially if you're putting your body on the line. And so, credit to her if she's wanting to.
Gotta go full ass.
Go whole ass.
Go whole ass.
Whole ass. You always gotta go whole ass.
You always go
whole ass.
Whole ass. All right. Little behind the curtains production talk right now on the Spanish Announce Table.
I like it.
We do these YouTube live streams. Check us out, youtube.com/SpanishAnnounceTube, or you can find every link you need at SpanishAnnounceTable.net. The live streams. I loved throughout the podcast history, we name the episodes after some kind of funny thing that was said or a theme of the show. It's better for like SEO and finding search to name like what people are searching. And so people aren't searching. You always go whole ass.
Or if they are.
People are searching like AEW Dynamite recap.
Or if they are, they may not.
They're not looking for pro wrestling. Well, I mean, they might be looking for some wrestling, but not AEW Dynamite, right?
I love the names of the episodes. That's one of my favorite parts of doing this.
I know it. Well, that's distinctill, right? It lets you remember what happened on that show. Yeah,
definitely does.
Maybe fuck the trend. Fuck the, you know what I mean? Like, just find us anyway. All you out there who aren't listening to us right now, find us. We're going to put that out into the world. Remember, like, see it to believe it, or believe it to achieve it, whatever, like the manifest.
Yeah. Let's eat, pray, love, too. I think those stupid things. I also want to credit, real quick before we get back into the news, right now, the hot trend as we end the year is the Spotify numbers. What was your favorite? This and that and this and that. Want a shout out. Got a couple here of people letting us know that we were their number one podcast. Specifically had a short conversation with Ash Hendricks. Oh, you warmed my heart. My black heart grew 3 sizes and I gave a hug to a stranger. It was so nice what you said. Also saw a couple other people where we made their top 5. So thank you guys and girls so much for all of your
Spotify and thanks to Ash also, because like he brought us on to like, hey guys, I was going to start checking out the podcast again and Spotify ain't up to date and I didn't know. And apparently like Spotify is a big area of listenership for podcasts. So thanks again for putting this out. And of course he's a longtime listener and I fucked up, Tom.
Not the first time.
Ash had emailed the show a couple weeks ago, and I got all excited because I was like, email for the show. And I totally forgot it. Totally forgot to like bring it to the show. Totally forgot to read it. And I was, it's a couple weeks old and out and all that. Maybe we'll get to that later tonight. Maybe we'll go back. It's about, I think it was about, AEW a couple weeks ago, but we'll read it. I was like, I emailed him back. I was like, dude, I totally fucked this up. I was all excited. Like, by the way, email the show, tableshow@gmail.com. Listen, please don't try to write us you know what I mean? Like I can't take 10 minutes for your email, but right. To read the email, and then start responding, right? Like give us, you know what I mean? Yeah. But however,
if you got a long form thought or question for us, by all means, email the show and we will definitely read it on there. Yeah. Let's, workshop here again. We peeked behind the curtain with the production. Let's do a little,
let's see if we still got it in there.
Yeah. Let's try to add that later, but as we get back into the show, what's the rest of the news for us, Tim?
The rest of the mother-loving news. And half of them were against John Cena.
Oh, wait a minute. So last time it was Randy Orton. This time...
Randy Orton continues to set records. This week, Orton passed Kane on the list of most career matches on Raw with 437 matches.
That's it, though? Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be more, honestly.
Yep. Kane had 436. Well, so again, more often than not, you're doing 1, possibly 2 in a night, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So, like, there's some breakage there. Like, it's not like they could throw in 10 in a night. Yeah.
I guess so. But there you go, the workhorse of WWE, the longevity of Randy Orton, which speaks to 2 things, I think. One, dependability. But
Yeah.
two, and maybe this is a little bit of an indictment on Randy Orton, not a lot of side projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so the thing with Randy Orton too is like didn't miss a whole lot of time over the years for injury. Like the shoulders were an issue, right? I remember
Early
those being
on.
an issue.
Yeah.
And like, but outside of that, like he doesn't work a style that's going to lend to him getting injured significantly often. So Kane did 436 matches on Raw. Boy, when we were reaching 425, Kane wasn't looking like Randy Orton looks at 437.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Randy Orton could do another 437. It looks like.
Yeah, he is in very good condition, and again, like his style lends to longevity, to where he's not doing 640 splashes from the top rope.
Now, and maybe I'm wrong here, and I'm possibly wrong here, right? Because remember, I said last time I know women, right? Randy Orton, we understand, is a sexy man, right? Randy Orton is
very attractive.
A very attractive man, right? But this facial hair thing he's got going now in this current look of Randy Orton,
Nah,
right? And I don't know too many women that are like, yeah, that's the dude, right? With that facial hair, right? Like you're looking like you're from a Bugs Bunny commercial about being in Paris from like 19, you know what I mean? Like,
but that might speak to I'm 40, I'm married, I got kids. I'll be in good I'll be in good shape, because that's for me. As far as what I look like, 2 middle fingers, this is what you get, pal. So maybe it's
maybe my wife likes it, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so
by the way, if you see my wife and you're like, yeah, all right. You know?
But yeah, Randy Orton, longevity. But the one thing though that I would say is, for as big of a star as he is, because I do think he's one of the names that reaches casuals, right? They will speak of John Cena. I think they'll speak of maybe CM Punk, but also in that conversation, you're going to hear Randy Orton. But the thing about him is, just outside of the WWE bubble, I don't see him in a lot of things.
Well, let's discuss this too. Like we are reminded often, and we're kind of taken aback and surprised. We're like, Jesus, I forget how big Randy Orton is, right? I forget how like broad Randy Orton is. I forget how like, and again, how he's got like movie star looks. Like at one point he was the most downloaded like guy on the internet or something, like crazy. But yet his nature is somewhat diminutive, that like you forget that stuff. Like he doesn't, for as much attention as he draws and charisma that he has, it feels like it's subdued even for what, like, if he had like a Cena-like personality and thirst for attention, the dude could be Ryan Reynolds level of fame, you know, like it's insane.
Yeah, especially the stature of Randy Orton is always impressive. The one
for
thing
being
that
a guy who wanted to be, sorry, not to interrupt, but for a guy who wants to be mostly left alone, like he sure didn't draw the right straw in the looks department, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah. The thing though that I always remember about him as far as his stature is that SummerSlam match that he had with Brock Lesnar, where Brock Lesnar busted him the hard way. But when they come face to face, I was like, oh shit, I forgot how big Randy Orton is.
That happened to me when he was squared off against Braun Strowman in the ring one time, and we were like, he's bigger than Strowman.
Yeah, I think he's same size, except for he can jump.
Yeah, I was like, he's leaner. And he's got like the same, like he was like slightly less broad, and I was like, Randy Orton wins this fight. I was like, he's got he's you know what I mean, he might have the reach on him. Fuck, Randy Orton, man, he gets it done. Does Randy Orton? All right, we'll get back into the news. The mother loving news. Now we'll own your name, image, and likeness before you even work for us.
Oh goodness, what is this about?
WWE announced a new name, image, and likeness program for college athletes called Next in Line. The program will reportedly feature access to WWE's Performance Center, education and media communications, branding, live event promotions, etc. Upon completion of the name, image, and likeness program, select athletes may earn an exclusive opportunity to be offered a WWE contract. In September, WWE announced its first name, image, and likeness deal with heavyweight freestyle wrestler Gable Steveson. Did I say that right? Who captured a gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics. This agreement allowed Steveson to return to the University of Minnesota for his senior season, where he is defending his NCAA national championship while beginning his superstar training with WWE. WWE will unveil the first class of NIL partnerships in the coming weeks. Quote, The NIL program has the potential to be transformational to our business, said Paul Levesque, WWE Executive Vice President, Global Talent Strategy and Development. By creating partnerships with elite athletes at all levels across a wide variety of college sports, we will dramatically expand our pool of talent and create a system that readies NCAA competitors for WWE once their collegiate careers come to a close. Hey, look, that's not a terrible idea on WWE's part, right?
Well, honestly, it's not a terrible idea for
the college athlete
to get paid while they're, going through volleyball, wrestling, whatever the sport is.
And I mean, there's the new Brock Lesnar's out there and the new Kurt Angles that are waiting for something like this to come along.
Gable Stevenson is the new Brock Lesnar. That motherfucker rags dolls Brock Lesnar. There's video of it. You can go Google it.
But does he have, you know what I mean, a wrestler's mentality and charisma to like tell stories?
Well,
you know what I mean? That's Brock Lesnar doesn't necessarily all have that. It's Paul Heyman a lot of the time.
Yeah, but Brock Lesnar, as far as mystique, is kind of a once in a generational kind of talent, right? Like just naturally he looks like an action figure. Gable Stevenson doesn't. But again, going to the real wrestling mats, Gable Stevenson's fucking up Brock Lesnar 9 times out of 10. And the only time he's not 10 times out of 10 is because he probably pities him on one match. But with that being said, what I wanted to go into with this NIL partnership is what the fuck is WWE going to provide you other than money? What fucking major star is it right now? Since John Cena, who's the major
exposure?
Star?
So what they'll do is get more exposure for an amateur wrestler in NCAA than they're probably getting otherwise.
Oh, I know that. But what I'm saying is if you're looking at the next phase of your career and you say wrestling might be the thing, look, if you're really plugged into it, why go to WWE when you can own everything and go to GCW or AEW or New Japan? You know what I mean?
There may be follow-up deals like this from companies like that. AEW, anything WWE can do right now, we know, due to the level of income of who's involved here, AEW can theoretically do. Whether or not they do from a business perspective based on their budgets they've allocated, et cetera, we don't know. But so they could do something similar. You know, GCW, we know it's rising. I don't know what their funds are like, right?
Oh, I know. I'm just saying other promotions.
But yes, other promotions could do that. So that may be an option. But I mean, there are even the aspects of doing a thing like Chad Gable did, where, you know what I mean? He's taking an education from Full Sail and turning that into a career post wrestling, right?
I know. It's just when they read you'll get an extensive knowledge of social media. Shut up. WWE.
So, to their credit, WWE is one of the most massive and identified as like a well-oiled machine in media productions and live events, you know what I mean, stuff. Like they are one of the,
they are.
You know what I mean?
They
For
are.
churning out meaningless products like capitalism does here in America.
Well, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like they take the cake, buddy.
Yeah, I guess though, like what they churn out is the brand I guess what my point is I wouldn't see that brand WWE and say like they make stars. They make a brand that has talent that is in that brand, but it is brand number 1, 2, and 3. And then we got the McMahons, and then we got maybe Roman Reigns. And like, that's the pecking order. So like, why would you waste your time and talent going to that company? Why would you even watch it? But we'll get into that later.
Well, because even there, when we talk about like WWE being able to reach out into the mainstream, like here's what I know that to be. And you know, some people can correct me if I'm wrong, but that usually materializes in the form of insert name of star appears on one of the nightly talk shows. And that's about it, right? That's generally it. That is as well like a dying medium is the like nightly Jimmy Kimmels and fucking Conans. Like that's also 55 and older folks watching that. You know what I mean? Like that's also a boomer style of television that like our generations and younger aren't sticking to. Well, so you're going to run into the same problem with that.
And there you go. That's even another thing is, and I hate to put them over because I don't like them and I still won't like them, even though I kind of like them more than I ever have. But look at the Young Bucks. What they did, they took a YouTube series. Now they found a billionaire, but they took a YouTube series and made AEW. Like, learn from them. What the fuck are you going to learn from? Hey, Vince McMahon is friends with Donald Trump Jr. You want to be on his book tour? No, fuck out of here. Like, I want to do the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
News.
No, for real. I saw somewhere that Survivor Series had 200,000 Google searches, whereas like All Out had 500,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just it. Like, WWE used to stay on the forefront of those things, but now all we hear is like, so when AEW was coming out and, Jim Ross was going to get involved and we heard Chris Jericho was getting involved, and like everybody was very cautious to be like, we could never be competition for the WWE, right? Like, and everybody was like, Vince McMahon's been there, done that. He's done this before and stuff. Like, just because you've done something before 20 years ago doesn't mean you can do that same thing again now against different opponents, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tyson has been there, done that. He's going to lose a lot of boxing matches in 2021.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Vince McMahon wasn't a 75-year-old senile guy who thinks fart jokes are still funny.
Yeah.
In 1997, right? Like,
oh my God.
This AEW, man, like, I know everybody's like still pointing to the ratings and everything, but we see these crowds, and we're going to talk about that in Tweet the Table. But man, you guys aren't with it. Like, I know numbers say like you're winning things, but like you don't get society anymore. Like, you get one portion of society, but that portion's aging rapidly.
And I saw it on Twitter, I believe, which again should speak to how people are consuming information. But I saw like, hey, ratings really don't mean anything. And what they brought up was Impact Wrestling, because you can watch Impact Wrestling on Access TV, or you can watch them on Fight TV, or you can watch them on YouTube with their, like there's so many different ways to consume one thing. So if you want to go back to the, like you said, 1990s way of saying like it was 750,000 during this half quarter hour, like that's great. Like obviously you want the traditional stuff still now because there's still money in there, but like you said, it's also kind of dying. So I don't know. I just why would you? I don't know why you would ever want to go to the WWE except for a paycheck.
This name, image, and likeness thing is interesting because I'd like to see how WWE structures theirs. This is something, if we're going to dig into the collegiate athletics, we've talked about this, like finally they're giving these kids something, right? For the money they produce for these, industries.
It's not the universities.
It's not the universities getting it. No, yeah. Right. Like finally the kids are allowed to earn off of their own potential.
Right. There you go.
Is one portion of the pie there. But they also don't seem to have a whole lot of strict rules around how, any protections for those kids, how they can not get swindled. WWE loves to own your name, image, and likeness. And I fear a lot of these unsuspecting kids, they're kids. Yeah. If you're 23 years old right now and you're watching me, you're a kid. Yep. You don't know shit. Like, I trust me, I thought I did then. But some things, but like, you don't know this, right? You don't know how to dig into the, that the person handing you a contract is trying to get as much as they can off of you in perpetuity, right? To leave you high and dry forever. And WWE loves to do that. At times they have tried to like own the names, right? China, Hulk Hogan comes to mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like these names that like they've tried to own that people have had to fight for. And
that brings up an interesting point because let's say they own your nickname, right? Let's go back to my nickname's T-Mac, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a 23-year-old baseball player. Yep. And I signed with WWE because, I love wrestling. I might try it out because I can't make it to the majors, right? So I sign on and I say, Thomas T-Mac McCullough. Boom. Yep.
I'm going to be a pro wrestling baseball guy.
Right, yeah. And I just go into WWE. Maybe I spend 6 months there, maybe a year. And I go like, my heart's not into it. I'm going to start my own YouTube series. I'm going to show you how to throw a slider. T-Mac slider time or whatever the hell I want to call it. But I can't call it that because they own the name T-Mac now. Like that's this part where you might want to check with a lawyer what happens post signature.
WWE. So I get creepy vibes off of this now.
100%. 100%.
All right, we'll move into the
Creeps.
final story. Yeah, the full creeps. You go whole ass on these creeps.
Yeah, whole ass on these creeps.
Does this mean we're getting the Glamazon back?
Beth Phoenix? What?
Announced that she will be leaving the broadcast announce team for NXT. Phoenix stated that she is remaining with WWE, however, is stepping away from the announcing role to have more time to spend with her family. Fun fact, her husband is actively touring with the company, so and he's fighting with Miz and Maurice at the moment.
Yeah, and hold up. No offense at all. I'm not trying to take shots here. But didn't she call NXT from her house for like 6 to 8 months because of the pandemic? Which she should have. I'm not saying like, oh, that's stupid. You got.
Yeah, were you not able to spend time with your family? What has your family been doing right now with Edge on the road, on the road? Well, I guess NXT isn't on the road, I guess, right? They do it out of that thing.
Right, but she was calling it from her house. Felt like you were spending time then.
Now, of course, she may not be like actively working and might be doing stuff behind the scenes. Who knows? Beth Phoenix as a commentator, I'm going to say this, right? Like, good. Called the match is fine. But WWE's commentary style has gone so far from like storytelling and like setting up something for me to care about that, like, yeah, I mean, she can call the maneuvers. But like, it was a fresh voice, and she wasn't bad. Like, she didn't stumble.
No.
She hit her marks and everything, like, but there was no takeaway. Like, I don't remember any call. I don't,
So you want to get into some conspiracy theories here? You think maybe this was a move because fuck it, I don't want Vince in my ear doing commentary, since Vince and Bruce Pritchard are going to put their fingerprints all over the new NXT. And she's like, no. If it's not Shawn or Triple H, I don't want to hear it. So guess what? I'll go back to wrestling until I want to fulfill my contract and then go back home. Like, could be that. Could be
so many things. But I mean, yeah, I thought she did a fine job here. Like, I never thought, man, she sucks, we need to get her out of here or anything like that. I didn't think she took away from the product. I also don't think there was a whole lot being added to the product from her,
Yeah, well, fun fact, I don't watch NXT 2.0. That show, I gave it 3 weeks. Sucks. Don't like
terrible.
it.
It's real bad. Yeah, I don't watch it.
Bye-bye. I got too many other things that I like that you ain't making the cut, pal.
Yep.
Unless there's some viral wrestler, right? Some viral moment that I have to see, and then the storyline hooks me. But until then, you get on your sailboat NXT 2.0 and you sail away.
Yeah, just get on out. Yeah, we don't need it. All right, so that was the news, man. Unless you got any news that I didn't come up with, we'll just move on into what the fans had to say.
No, I want to hear from our Table Nation. Let's get right into it. I love hearing from #TweetTheTable.
#TweetTheTable is the fun and interactive game we like to play here, where you, the listener, get to tell us what to talk about. You take the producer role right now and you tell us what we're going to discuss by using #TweetTheTable on Twitter, like @AshHendricks92 said Punk made MJF look like a rookie on the mic this week. #TweetTheTable. And I disagree.
Okay, hold on. When was the this was talking about last night's episode, or are we still talking about the when MJF?
I think he's talking about this was one of the early ones. I think he's talking about the MJF Punk showdown.
Right, 2 weeks ago. Okay, because they did the thing last night, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Look, that promo is so controversial on so many different levels. Some people are saying it's the best promo in 20 years, kind of recency bias, but maybe it was. And then some people are going into the MJF murdered him. What is Punk even doing? Obviously, he was never even that good. And then you got Ash Hendricks over here and some other people saying like Punk killed it. And
so here's what I think.
It was fun.
I think it was fun, but I do think MJF had more like Punk said, you're taking the low, easy hanging fruit, but I think Punk did that, right? Like, he's like, the only way, you're going to be relevant is if you find, if Tony's got a daughter you marry. Is like, that's a dig on Triple H, and that's like your beef with Triple H. Like, MJF does not equate Triple H in AEW. You know what I mean? Like, the roles aren't the same, right? So I was like, to me, that's cheat. Like, you're pulling something is going to get a pop, but isn't really related, right? Like, he did several of those kind of things. I'd have to like really replay it back to point that out. But I noticed a couple times I was like, but that's not really about MJF. And the Rosie O'Donnell thing, like the kid was 9. Like,
Yeah.
he was sorry he was, like already on TV before you were. Like, I don't
Right.
get why that's a thing. Yeah, those kind of things, right?
I felt, now that we've got some time to chew on this promo and maybe watch it back 3 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Maybe I did
Maybe.
that. I felt like MJF came across with more of the like, oh shit, oh yeah.
I agree,
right?
yeah.
However, I felt like CM Punk was like kind of the wise old man saying like, hey, I get it. I know what you're saying, but you need to realize you're fucking up. Right. And it was like, oh, maybe this promo is going to make way more sense in 3 years. Right. Like, we're going to revisit that, and everything that CM Punk said is going to come to life. Like, it felt like it was this, wise man and hotshot wrestler coming together, and both had good moments, right? CM Punk is running with this needle dick thing that makes me laugh.
That's so fun, yeah.
Well, did you see it last night too? Because they had to cut away from it super quick. But
Yeah.
CM Punk started like putting his finger towards his midsection, acting as if it's a needle dick, and he was pointing at him. The camera shot to him. It was like, nope, can't show that.
We also called him a pussy, like with the camera right in his face. He's like, you're a pussy, dude.
Yeah, and so that's the kind of stuff where that's fun. But when I was going back to this promo here, I just felt like CM Punk was coming from a
We need more
veteran's
needle dick and pussy in our wrestling. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I felt like he was coming up from it from a more veteran perspective, and MJF was like, hey, like, this is battle rap. They remember the lines. They don't remember the whole story. And so it was both good. Very, very good. Loved them both.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have any complaints on either side. But, yeah, I definitely like when I was grading, I gave the slight edge to MJF. Yeah.
Are we going to talk about last night's one, though? Is that in hashtag tweet the table?
I don't think so. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, my God. MJF. Woo. Way to put
so
Punk in such an awkward position with the Britt Baker line.
Yeah.
Because, look, I am not accusing CM Punk of any infidelity or anything like that. However, you're kind of looking like Tony Schiavone with the I'm wearing the coat post-show. My first time I'm on the mic, I say Britt Baker. Then I get to say, hey, MJF, you're not a pillar. It's Britt. It's like, why do you keep up? Like, Britt Baker's not in this feud. And you know who should be pissed more than anyone? Fucking Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Like, don't be talking about my girlfriend and either motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Now, Adam Cole was pissed at Tony Schiavone when he did the.
Yeah, and that's a good running joke, right? Where Adam Cole goes.
I love this. Like, don't act.
Commentaries. Don't
pretend.
Shut up.
Don't pretend.
No, you're an asshole. I don't like that you're talking to my girlfriend, right? But I'm saying, breaking kayfabe for a moment, when we travel from Orlando to Tampa or whatever the fucking cities are that we're doing, that might feel a little awkward when everyone shows up to the arena at the same time and it's those three, because MJF and Punk seem like they're working and, getting some jabs in. But Adam Cole's like, you know who you're talking about? Like, get my girlfriend's name out your fucking
now somebody else already addressed it, so now like I have to like say something.
It kind of feels like whatever that wouldn't be a bad move. Is AEW does a fantastic job of future storytelling.
Adam Cole versus CM Punk.
Whoever, well, it could even be MJF, right? Whoever comes out of this feud and however we position Adam Cole, because right now, look, I know he's a heel. He's getting the loudest reaction every night. I know it's fun, baby, but like, noise is noise, right? Like, they're not sitting on their hands when he walks out. So maybe you position him as a babyface, goes up against MJF, or you keep him as a heel, CM Punk. But like, that could be his angle right there.
Let's talk about chants in wrestling.
Okay.
It's such a fine line, right? Like, look, the NWO Wolfpack made 2 years worth of their career off of chants alone.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yo.
You know what I mean? That's all they did. Like, it took them 25 minutes to get through their whole shtick. People love the Adam Cole Bay, right? But for that reason, I guess, because like everything else he's doing is heel stuff. He's not the, you know what I mean? Like, not an opposing guy, right? Like, and yet everything he's doing, it doesn't matter because everybody just wants to be like, Adam Cole, baby, when he yells. It's so insane how like that feels like then the answer is like, well, you just got to do one of those. But it's got to be real. It has to have come organically along the way, too. It's so strange where, like, the answer is get a chant over and you're over. But you can't force one either, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Well, and also
because he can do no wrong. As long as they come out to the music and he could do it, he could do what the fuck ever. He could do nothing wrong. As long as they can do the Adam Cole baby.
But that's the confusing part to a casual viewer, right? Like, so it looks like they're going to be going up against Orange Cassidy. It looks like potentially sooner rather than later, we're going to get Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy in a one-on-one match, right? Now, traditional storytelling tells you Orange Cassidy, who got low blowed, is the babyface, and Adam Cole, who did the low blow, is the dastardly heel, right? So if I say, hey, Swim Trunk, right? Your son, hey, Swim Trunk, watch AEW Dynamite this Wednesday. Two of my favorite characters, heel Adam Cole and babyface Orange Cassidy. You know, good guy, bad guy, all the same, whatever he, terms you want to use there. But like, you got to watch it. And he's like, okay, cool. And he turns it on, and Adam Cole makes his way out, and we all do the bay until he goes like, so that's the good guy. I'm like, no,
we're gonna boo that guy.
Because wait till the next guy. So like.
We're going to boo that guy in 2 minutes, but right now, baby.
Well, and speaking of chance, that's on the flip side of Adam Cole's relationship. Britt Baker, same thing, right? She's doing all the dastardly heel things, but we all got to do DMD. You know what I mean? Each and every week, we got to do it. So it's like.
Yeah, that couple. God damn.
Yeah, so.
Both of y'all.
But like, you got to kind of. I know the stories we want to tell, and like you got to tell the stories, but also like
maybe Bully Ray isn't wrong there when he's like, my goal is to make them not like anything I say.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. The MJF way, like no one. Next week we're going to Long Island, and he put over how he's going to God's country, and
he's still going to shit on them.
But he's going to get booed out of the building before he even grabs the microphone.
He's still going to shit on them. Like, he's going to talk about how great Long Island is. It's the wonderful place, but, like, everybody there sucks. And he's going to do it effortlessly. Yeah.
I moved to Brooklyn.
He's like, that's why I only visit once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I moved to whatever their most heated rivalry in the boroughs is. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I just think, though, with the chance, as you were talking about, we just need to say, like, if it's over – now, again, let's not run it into the ground. However, go with it. Go with it. You know what I mean? Go with it. So I don't know. But anyhow.
All right. At AUC Kata says, Cody's back. Looks like the result of being out in the sun too long. Looks like his skin is peeling. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Hashtag tweet the table. Was anybody asking for a blow-off match between Cody Rhodes and Andrade?
Well, but it was Atlanta, because remember, last year he did the backflip off the cage against Wardlow.
Was anybody asking for this to be a street fight where there would be fire on a table? Did anybody care?
I mean,
who cared about this?
Well, I mean, it was fun.
I mean, sure it was fun to some extent, but I'm just I didn't care about this match at all, ever, once.
Well, I think we missed the mark on Andrade. I don't know if we're the right kind of wrestling fans to be like, in-ring work, love them. Like, that's not us, right? So I don't think Andrade is our demo. Cody might be, right? Cody was doing good stories, but I agree with you as far as there is a certain number of fans right now that just like, I don't know, just fuck that guy. Fuck him. I don't like him.
So, he put everything, he's like, I'm going to go through a fucking flaming table, and everybody's like, oh my God.
Well,
fuck you still. We still don't like you. We still don't like you. That should be the chant.
Well, that's the thing, is because next week, I assume, or maybe in 2 weeks, at Winter is Coming, he's going to come out and we're like, no, you got to go through 2 of them for us to even
still consider. Don't like you.
Yeah.
I want it, please. Yeah. Anybody that's going to that show is listening to my voice right now. Please start that and bring a hashtag tweet the table sign. There
you go. I also thought, though, and this is me splitting hairs, because again, you can't do take twos in wrestling. But like, you should have called an audible, I thought, because Cody went through the table. Andrade just did a backflip and then just decided to like stay down. That was all Cody. I think he covered him while he was still on fire.
So again,
Call
when we
the
talk
audible.
about like why we don't like the Young Bucks style is that like I understand I'm watching a scripted show and there's not take twos and I understand things are going to miss. But I need you to put the miss into the story. Right? Like I need when you miss for it to make sense. Not the guy to be like, "Oh, I fell anyway."
Yeah.
And, just the whiff of you going by, and your arm grazing my forehead has now knocked me out. Please don't. I don't know why the rest of you won't share this with me if you're like, "Oh, I don't care." The fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you slow? Like, how are you not seeing this? And why would you just be like, "Yeah, it's fine." If you saw it in a movie, you'd be like, "This movie fucking blows."
Yeah.
Even if you saw it in a live theater act, you would be like, "Oh, they fucked that up."
Yeah, I thought with that one last night though, it was so much. Like if you were putting a percentage of who went through the table, it was 98% Cody and 2% Andrade.
That's what I mean. You got to do something. And those two guys are veteran enough to do something.
Well, and we also have enough story
One was
time.
on fire though, so.
Right, but we also have enough time to say like, "Oh shit. So Andrade won. We kind of wanted Cody. Let's try to figure out how to get out of this," right? Like we still have an end goal of whatever it is.
Pick him up, act like you're going to pin him or something. And you know what I mean? He still kicks out miraculously. And then then he gives you the fucking Kansas City cunt punt and gets a win, right?
Yeah, something. But yeah, I just felt like we could have called an audible on that one, but it was fun. You want to hear my hot take of what I didn't like?
Okay.
Brandy, get the fuck out of here. You're not that fucking cool. When you unveiled, you got a turd and a punch bowl reaction. Like, just stop trying to be a thing.
You were never involved in the storyline, right?
Yeah.
Did I miss something there? He didn't shit talk on you. He didn't slap your ass.
Nothing. So I don't know. I get her determination and her goal setting, and that is great and more power to you. However, read the room. Like, you can't be a thing when no one wants you to be a thing, no matter how much you want to be a thing.
If you guys are struggling to figure out why Cody isn't getting the reaction you want, why do you think you're going to step in and swing it that way?
Yeah,
listen, I get at your cocktail parties and your boardroom meetings, everybody thinks you're the most charismatic person in the room and everybody loves you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably why everybody in the stands don't.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if I'm being honest, right? Because that shit just comes off as like, "Oh, they're above us."
A little bit. Now, with Cody's character, I think there's just a little bit of misses that I don't boo him. So I like Cody. When he was here in Kansas City, yay, Cody, because he took on Andrade, right? That was the matchup that we had. Yay, Andrade, right? I was all for him. I like him. But there's little things that he does that I excuse because I give him the benefit of the doubt where, people like you who are booing him, I totally understand. Case in point, last night, it's a street fight. It's a street fight. It is a street fight.
A fight. In the street.
The fuck are you wearing red, white, and blue boots? You're not going up against a go-go?
Sparkly fucking pants and shit.
Yeah. What? And I get it, right? So those kind of things, you're like, I don't fucking like the way he's looking right now. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm not going to go with it, but
yeah. And I don't even necessarily boo him, but I don't not understand why people are booing him. I'm like, because he's not giving them anything to really love.
Right.
He's giving some people something to admire.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But he's not giving stuff for people to be concerned about. He's not giving stuff people to love, to root for, really.
And I also say one other thing that I've read comments from him about. Look, I understand what he's somewhat saying with, I can't be a heel. I'm the baby face who does the culture city stuff. I'm the one that does the bowling stuff. But here's the thing. I would just
Miz did those as a heel for years.
That's what I'm saying. We had Miz, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin, we had The Rock, and maybe they were baby faces, but Stone Cold, whether it was baby face or heel, was doing this, right?
And let me tell you, I promise you, you may not want to hear this. Doing the heel stuff on those interviews will probably get people to tune in better than you going in and fucking kissing babies and shaking hands and shit.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, again, you've got to give the people a reason to give a shit. And I don't give a shit that you came on with your fucking straight teeth and your fucking perfect fucking Justin Timberlake hair circa 1990, whatever, like waving to the crowd. Like, I give a shit. Nobody cares about that. Everybody does that who comes on every show. Like, I don't fucking care.
That's generic, create a wrestler. That's what they give you when you get. Yeah, that's what they give you when you create a wrestler and you don't do anything. They just go, "Hey, suplex."
Suplex. All right, let's move on, huh? Yeah. This one ought to be fun. At Katie First, a lady says, you know when Vince likes a guy, when he has to be in segments with him. Hashtag WWE Raw. Hashtag Tweet the Table. And yeah, is Austin Theory the new golden child? Is he the new chosen one?
So look, I'm going to tell you, for longtime listeners, you may recall for my bachelor party, I went to Evolve shows with my best man, Anthony Shark Bait Gutierrez, who had an Evolve contract during that time period. We went to Detroit. We went to Chicago. Shows were really great. Matt Riddle was there. All these amazing talents. Kushida showed up at one time.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa
Talked
was
about
there.
your neck injuries.
Yeah, it was a fantastic time. The star of that weekend was Austin Theory. More so than Matt Riddle, more so than Tommaso Ciampa. When he walked into a room, everyone went like, well, fuck. Is he going to take my girlfriend this time? Like, what a dick. God damn it. Like, of course I want to look like him. Yeah, I'll give him my wallet. He didn't ask, but he probably wants it. Like, he's the man. Like, he is the guy when he walks into the room. I'm telling you from personal experience. Okay. Now, fast forward to
I don't know if it's coming across on WWE TV.
Well, because he's doing the fucking Breezango bullshit where he's doing selfies like Tyler Breeze. Like, Roman Reigns wouldn't get over if he was doing that gimmick. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, here's the thing. I feel like I'm saying this too many times, but Vince McMahon is notorious for, if you're old, I'm getting you off television. If you recall 1992, Ric Flair, you're too old. Bye-bye. Go back to WCW. Okay, cool. I'm out of here. Or 1994 it was. He came in 92.
Yep. If you got a wrinkle, you got to get off TV.
But Vince's mumbly mouth gargle is fucking horrendous. Like, it was, I didn't even consider Austin Theory in the room because I was so upset hearing Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Like,
sounds like a 64 pickup trying to start up.
Oh yeah. That's a great one. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just miserable. Get out of here. So, like, I didn't pay attention to anything he said because of how fucking dumb he looked.
Well, but it's also just empty stuff.
Yeah.
It's also just empty.
You gotta expect the surprise, and then
stop looking that way. Like,
yeah, what are you talking about? Look, at one time, and you are considered the greatest heel of all time, right? Like, if you're ranking them prime, Vince McMahon,
Mr. McMahon,
is the greatest. Yeah, that's the best. But this fucking thing is garbage. Like, Austin Theory can't get over because fucking Vince is so bad.
Well, and like, it can't go anywhere. We know he's not going to be like tied to Vince's hip moving forward very long. Like, Vince isn't going to be there one more week tops, right? So, like, what's next? Like, what is it? Like, what does he do after being placed next to Vince McMahon for a while? Well, and we've already seen that tried before. Remember when Drew McIntyre was the chosen one? Vince McMahon told you, this is the fucking guy. And it's like, nope, he got fired. That's how took
bad
him 10 years or 15 years or whatever to become the guy, and he's still kind of not the guy. So,
yeah. Well, he's got a sword.
He does have a sword. Yeah. At Devil Vamp says, is it me or does Raw not show the whole camera side now? I'm not a guy that cares about ticket sales, but damn, shit seems empty. Anyone? Hashtag tweet the table. Oh, and that's not wrong. That's the reason they've got the shortened ramp and all of that jazz. They're not getting anybody. They're having to cram everybody into a tight window. They're shooting more close up and up than they were back and away. You don't get the hard cam wide shot hardly at all anymore. Like, people aren't going there.
Hey,
People aren't going there. Look, I know, like, for a while there was a pandemic, but I've seen football stadiums full. I have seen concert venues full. People licking each other's fucking nostrils in these places. And WWE ain't that way.
yeah. Michigan, Ohio State had 110,000 people watch a college
They
football
stormed the
game.
fucking field and
And
dumped
then
each
they,
other
yeah.
up.
Yeah. And then they were doing all types of things, putting fingers in all
Somebody
kinds of
open mouth
holes.
kiss the goat.
Yeah. And so WWE ain't doing that, right?
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to tell you is WWE is coming to Kansas City again, because we're a good town for wrestling. In January, it's going to be Smackdown, and I'm not going to go.
No.
I don't want to go
No.
because it's void of any heart and
Well,
personality.
and let's be clear. When they come for shows like this, like, you can often get in the door for $15.
Oh, they were doing,
$20.
I read that they were doing 3 for 1.
But
you
I
get
ain't
3
going.
tickets for the price of
But
one.
I ain't going. I ain't going. I don't even want to watch on TV, let alone go.
Yeah. Well, what's the big shocker? What's the big, oh my God moment that could ever happen on SmackDown?
Well, and they've leaned so hard into it. I know it's 2021 you do this, and everybody's got YouTube channels and social media, but, like, there's no reason to go to the arena because I will see it as soon as it happened. You might show it live. You also might show it in 5 minutes on Twitter and YouTube.
Yes, and going back to the vibe of the show, AEW feels like a rock concert, feels like during the ad break when Sammy Guevara has his cue cards and is throwing it and talking
Right.
shit
There's
and all
stuff
that
going
stuff.
on.
You were like, what's happening? That seems fun. Everyone there is hyped up and ready. GCW. I want to go to a GCW show because I want to push the fuck out of Matt Cardona when he tries to make his way to the ring. I want to hug Nick Gage when he comes out. I want to jump around to AJ Gray's entrance song. I want to see fucking glass get shattered everywhere. Like, I want to go and see that in person. WWE, I don't want to see Roman Reigns raise a belt and have a monologue. Fuck that. Stupid.
It's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
All right.
Dumb.
At This Is Pocket says, I remember the sheer arrogance of this presentation. It hasn't aged well, has it? Hashtag tweet the table. And he's talking about the Triple H standing in front of the NXT world map where they've got like NXT South America and NXT Europe and India and Middle East and China and none of those are there, and not even Triple H. It's NXT and NXT UK, I guess.
I tell you what, I still believe that Triple H made a deal with the devil, and the devil came to get his side of the deal done. And Triple H said no, and so then the devil said, "Watch your life fall apart."
Well, on a side note,
miserable.
like we've heard, I think in this week too, that like apparently that was like a very, very serious heart attack. Could have ended up very drastic. Like he hasn't even been returned to like full work at this point even. So, you know, I mean, all that stands. It's not like they were like Triple H sucks, you're fired. You know what I mean? It was like they had to call an audible and they started doing this. But like in his absence, man, this thing has took more than a left turn, right? Like it's turned around.
Well, but I believe the NXT 2.0 thing was planned
that was
before.
Coming. Yeah, that was probably coming. That was probably a decision from on high down. You're right.
Yeah. And so I'm talking more about like what I mentioned last week. Triple H has to watch his brainchild become fucking Toys R Us, and then goes over to the other competition, and Cody's bringing out a shovel and then throwing it, or a sledgehammer, then throwing it, and then getting a golden shovel and throwing it. And it's all about Triple H. And then the week before, CM Punk's referencing MJF as a Triple H, you know, wannabe. And it's just like, motherfuckers, can he not catch a break anywhere? Think about the fall from grace he had. Again, not ailments considered here,
of course.
but like when he was doing the solo shot in the ring and saying, "This is NXT," to now what? now MJF is even throwing shade at him, and that's the guy that used to look up to him. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
At Ash Hendricks 92 says, wasn't quite Punk MJF, but the Miz Edge promo was great. Hashtag tweet the table. Look, it's better than a lot of stuff they're putting out there, but it
was good.
Yeah, it was good.
I'll give you that. I think knowing wrestling and knowing the wrestling news like hardcore fans do, it was in such poor taste for Edge to say, Miz, you went to Dancing with the Stars, and that's why John Morrison got fired. That's when the promo jumped the shark, and I was like, I'm out. I look, it was really cool that Miz rents space in other people's heads and other shows are talking to him. I like that because that was the Attitude Era, right? We're all winking at each other.
That was great.
Great.
Yeah.
But as soon as you want to make the, hey, pal, your friend got fired because you want to go to Hollywood. Nope. Done.
Well,
don't like it.
Because what also was a little disturbing is because it's probably the other way around. Like it's your contract that's part of the problem, probably.
Right,
Edge.
yeah.
And then like that was well better done with Liv Morgan's when she's like, because of your goddamn contract, my friend isn't here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and shout out to her. She did a pretty good deal this week. But
the content was bad because again, you read as part of being in the IWC that this was their most profitable quarter in company history. It wasn't Becky Lynch's contract. It wasn't Edge's contract. It was their fucking.
I think I saw Lynch makes like $1 million a year. Like that didn't get them fired.
Yeah, they're just trying to turn the narrative to make it into a story, and I think in this case, it's bitten them in the ass. And I'm out. I don't want to see Edge versus Miz. Don't care about it. That is a
there's nothing they're going to do that's going to be like otherworldly, right?
So bye. I'm out. Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch are wrestling this Monday. I'm going to be watching Holiday Baking Championship.
In no way do I think Liv Morgan's winning that.
Oh, she might, but I don't care afterwards. It's not a Miro has the title. Now what is God?
Remember Rhea Ripley won it too,
Yeah, exactly. So like she could, but it's not going to move the needle for me.
It's not going to matter.
By the way, I'm not watching Holiday Baking Championship. That ended.
That
season
ended.
Finale.
Yep.
Very happy with who.
It's fun.
Yeah, very, very happy with the winner. Recommendation though, Netflix, School of Chocolate. Oh, fantastic show. School of Chocolate, Netflix. Give it a shot.
All right, final tweet the table at AUC Cata says, whatever happened to the Elias and his gimmick change video packages? Hashtag raw, hashtag tweet the table. Hey, look, were you really hoping to see that? I mean, anyway, like what? I mean, look, Elias needed a change. I'll give you that.
I was interested, right? When you see that it's a burial of Elias, okay, cool. What's next? Well, now out of sight, out of mind. I don't care, right? Like,
you missed the timing now.
Yeah, now unless you become the guy that dethrones Roman Reigns on SmackDown, like I'm not gonna care what you're doing, right?
Yep.
So like,
I don't know.
Poor guy.
But this is what we get to talk about when you tell us what to talk about by using hashtag tweet the table. So we appreciate everyone that did that and encourage you to do the same. So Tom, any low-hanging fruit that's left over from the wrestling week that you want to hit, like on what happened on Dynamite or what might have happened on Raw or SmackDown, or we got GCW coming up in the Hammerstein Ballroom coming up sometime soon?
Eddie Kingston and GCW is must-see TV. I am going to order that pay-per-view. I'm going to clear my calendar. That is must-see television from my
largest
perspective.
Crowd to watch an event in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Cannot wait. So
if you remember what the crowds in the Hammerstein Ballroom get like, now you're going to get the largest one for a GCW show.
Ooh. With Eddie Kingston?
With Eddie Kingston? Nick fucking Gage.
Oh, my God.
You thought the Sandman entrance was crazy?
Oh.
Nick fucking Gage is going to make you're going to forget. You're going to be like little Sam baby.
I might faint. I might faint from joy. It might be the first time that I faint because of joy.
MDK all fucking
GCW.
day, baby.
Oh, right here.
Kevin Gill on the stick.
Oh, friend of the show, definitely. Yes. So GCW Hammerstein Ballroom, have to see it. A couple other little news and notes I want your feedback on. Winter is coming in 2 weeks. So not the show in Long Island, but the next show after that. Winter is coming. It was announced, just as the first show had, a world title match this year. Heavyweight champion Hangman Adam Page taking on a man on a mission in Bryan Danielson, who is murdering the Dark Order.
So I feel like the story told is done very well either way you go here, right? Like, Daniel Bryan has made a great heel to have to beat back. But if he wins, the Hangman Adam Page, like, woe is me story and the, like, just can't quite, you know what I mean, get the big thing done is still alive in that moment, right? Like, it's still kind of like everybody gets to be like, oh, yeah, that figures. You know, so I don't.
Well, and then he can play the narrative of being the first transitional champion in AEW history. Like, that could be a burden that he has to hold, right? He's the shortest reign.
Only guy to never successfully defend.
Right. All of those things. And then we can see the spiral again. Now, the thing I get nervous with is very similar to Chance. You can't just do it again, right? Like, hey, we just did it. Let's do it again, brother. It's like, not yet, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, Bryan Danielson is knocking teeth out, ripping knees, which, by the way, when he was like
one of the best heels in the business.
Yeah, but when he was like, I ripped his MCL, like, you guys wouldn't even know what that is. I love that line.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are too dumb to know what an MCL is. That was great. But what do you do with him? If he loses, let's just say it's straight up, right? Where does he go?
The only way I think it works is if, his attention is somehow diverted to somebody else because of what they did to him, right?
I mean, if the Dark Order gets their revenge,
but that doesn't lend well to a face doing that to the heel.
Right, exactly. It's going to be interesting. That's why when they're like 2 weeks, man, they've got a lot of meat on this bone to tell, or, you know, to eat on. So what is going to happen? I'm interested, very interested.
So CM Punk screws over Daniel Bryan because he's like, I'm going to be the guy to take it off Hangman. And Daniel Bryan's like, no, you won't. It was me. I was going to do it anyway, and you ruin it. And then, like, well, we're going to fight over who gets it. And then, like, Tony Khan's even like, hey, I didn't say, like, winner gets a fucking title shot or anything. They're like, you stay out of this. Like, and it's just like Punk Bryan battling over a non-existent prize, but they're just like, really, it's fucking Punk Bryan. You could go a route like that.
Yeah, I this is the other thing, too, is in AEW's history, they have not given me a story where I was like, turn the TV off, this fucking sucks, right? They gave me Mike Tyson.
Or super telegraphed. I mean, there's been a few things where we understood who was going to win, I guess. But
we had to get to the next point, and those are fine. You know, you had Mike Tyson getting in the face of Chris Jericho. That's literally the only bad show that I can remember. I'm like, ugh. But so I'm all in. It's so interesting. What if it's a draw? That's the story I think you could tell is the second title match, or when he wrestled Kenny Omega, was that for the world title?
I don't think it was for the title. I think it was just it was a match.
Just a match. Okay. But if he gets another shot at the best wrestler in the company and goes to a draw, what does that do to his psyche? Interesting stuff. I can't wait. Winter is coming is going to be so great.
Or maybe this is where Crazy Miro
so that's where I
fucks with Daniel Bryan and like.
So I want to get your thoughts on that. Miro now has gone full heel on God.
What a crazy vignette that was. That was so fun.
And that's the amazing thing about Miro. I find him to be the most interesting wrestler right now because it legitimately doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ring when he has a match.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. It almost feels like, to a certain degree, like when Al Snow came out and it was everyone wants to do head, you didn't care who he wrestled, right? We just all want to do the head thing. With Miro,
we all want a head.
Right. But like with Miro, you're like, what's the story that's going to be told with himself? With himself. It's not millennial
he's in a fight against God.
Shit. Yeah. It's not millennial cowboy shit where Hangman had to overcome a obstacle in the elite. This is Miro and God. What in the world?
How are they going to book the blow off for this? You
I
know
don't
what
know. That is so interesting.
God can't get in a fucking cage match. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he can. He
Maybe
lost
he
to
can.
Vince McMahon, right?
Yeah.
Or it was him and Shawn Michaels.
Well, the
versus
rope
McMahon.
went out from under fucking, what was that? It went out from under.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah,
maybe God can get up in this match.
I don't know, but I am so interested
Fucking
right
Miro's
now.
great. God, he's so good.
In Miro. He is amazing. Some other things that I wanted to get your feedback on. Obviously, we had Darby Allin and Sting. I think that whole feud was just leading to Sting wrestles in Atlanta, which is fine. Totally fine. But this Lio Rush promo that he had with Taz, and Taz was at the commentary, that just felt disjointed and woof.
Interesting moves they've made all around. I think we were like, yeah, okay, we're for this idea that, like, okay, Dante Martin kind of pulled the swerve on us and he joined the heel group, but like I'm getting increasingly worried that he's going to get lost in the fold of it, and just I don't know.
I guess it just didn't make sense. So Taz was on commentary and he talked about the Diamond Rush Battle Royal that'll take place next week, which the only winner has been MJF. I can definitely see CM Punk costing him that match, and then that's why someone else wins it, which could happen, right? But all Taz was doing was like, hey, we have the best chance because we have the most members. And Lio Rush, I guess, watching the show, how did he hear this? But whatever, watching the show, walks out, and that's his first thing. Like, that's where it missed me. You should be, in my opinion, upset that your friend Dante Martin sided with this evil bastard. Go that route. But it was this weird, I've got I'm 1%. What? Get out of here. Didn't make any sense. Big miss. But hopefully Lio Rush can wrestle, because that's where it gets over.
Look, Lio Rush is another one for me that's like kind of the Young Bucks thing, where I'm like, look, I get some people like the flips and shit. And like, he can do a lot of shit. He's athletic as hell. But I've never bought into a story. I've never, you know what I mean, felt a strong desire to care if Lio Rush gets his ass kicked or if he kicks someone's ass. Like, I just,
you know, have a fun match. For example, a recent match where I was very entertained was that triple threat he had with Ninja Mac and the Taco Bell guy in GCW.
Right.
Very fun, but like,
I too liked him better as a manager. I don't mean to be rude about it, but like,
well, I like him more with attitude. I guess maybe he's kind of like the Miz, where it's like, don't do babyface, be heel. Like, I just don't think I like him as baby.
Yes. Yeah. There's no reason for me to be like, that's my guy, Leo. Hope he kicks your ass. But I can way more see myself being like, hope somebody fucking kicks this guy in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he needs to be heel, but also he needs to be focused. Don't be talking about two different things when, you know, your friend got taken away from you, God damn it. Or at least you had money invested in him, right? You said you were going to do X, Y, and Z with them. So talk about that. What were those plans? Make Dante Martin say, like, the grass is greener over here. I could have got you a sponsorship.
Go find me a new one. This fucking guy, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It was just, that was the biggest miss for me on the show. But another part where I was very interested, and I want your feedback on this, Wardlow's presence on AEW Dynamite. So we first saw him get in between MJF and Punk didn't look like he wanted to square up with Wardlow. Credit to him for thinking that.
Yeah.
But then Wardlow goddamn killed the man on TV. And afterwards, Sean Spears got even chair happy and tried to kill him again. Where do you think we're going with this Wardlow squash matches? This is now 2 in a row, I think, that we've seen from him.
I think we'll get CM Punk Wardlow.
You think that's what we're getting first?
Yeah, I think so.
It makes sense. And then that's where you could say Wardlow goes, hey, I'm tired of fighting these battles for you, MJF. I'm out of here.
Well, and let's be clear. Like, I think Wardlow, they're going to build him up, look like he's beating the shit out of people. So Punk's going to have a tough hill to climb. And I think we're going to see where Wardlow would have won if MJF didn't fuck it up. MJF was worried, didn't want Wardlow to win necessarily. Like, did, but then realized, you can't beat CM Punk. You can't outshine me, right? Like, so even though I didn't want Punk to win because I don't want to have to wrestle him, then it hit him like, you can't be the star here, right?
That's a good story. That is
Mm-hmm.
a very good story.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those were the big things. Again, we mentioned it looks like Adam Cole and the Young Bucks are going to take out the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy. That was the other bit of news here. But I think I think the real thing though that we're looking forward to is Winter is coming in 2 weeks. That is going to
I
be
think
must see TV.
Bobby Fish's name is very apropos because he's about as exciting as watching fishing for me.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked us that on Twitter. They're like, "What do you think about Bobby Fish?" I'm not a huge fan. I think he's fine. I think he's fine as like a mercenary, not like the Wardlow. I'm bigger and better than everyone, but like the
Or a pep talk guy in the back. Like,
no. But he's the guy that's like I'm a trained assassin, kind of like Liam Neeson, right? Like how Liam Neeson is in
yes.
movies. That could be
So
what
he's the
Bobby Fish
guy
is.
in black who shows up behind you and he snapped your neck real quick.
Right?
You know what I mean? And then was out the back door, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
And then you
Bobby
see him
Fish
drinking
took care
whiskey.
of it for you. We
Right. And
fished
then
him.
you see him drinking a whiskey, and he's the coolest guy in the room because
Yeah.
he looks his
That's the thing is,
presentation.
what are we gonna
does look
do
cool.
about fucking scrotum Steve over here? He keeps getting in our business. Fish him, and then
Yeah.
fucking.
There he goes. And he can be just a hired mercenary where he goes kind of like what the APA did there for a second, where it was like, just hire us. We don't care whose ass we're going to kick. As long as the check clears, we're good to
Don't
go.
get fished.
And then, yeah, he just goes about and helps. Maybe he helps Matt Hardy. Then he goes and helps Sammy Guevara. Then he goes and helps,
Right.
just anyone. Like,
Right.
I think that would be an interesting part.
Tries to take out God for Miro.
Oh, that'd be interesting. How would he do that?
Yeah.
How would he
Fish
do
knows.
that? Fish does know.
Fish gets the stuff done, man.
So yeah, that was the weekend. I don't care about WWE. Whatever.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Yeah. Hey, man, this has been super fun. Episode 361. We want you to join us each week live. We do this on YouTube, but you can always download the podcast or watch the shows later on YouTube. We put up some clips. We're also on the TikToks, the Twitters, the Facebooks, all that jazz. Find it all at SpanishAnnounceTable.net. And Tom, I guess we went whole ass, huh?
Whole ass.